Distracting assignment. What is distracting assignment in JavaScript? A distracting assignment is used to store uh, an array element to each individual variable. Let me show you what I mean by this. I declare a variable called name and assign it names actually, and assign it to some random names. For example, here I pass the rain and Alex and John. That's enough. So now I want to store each array element to a variable. So how can I do that? Here I can declare another variable and call it whatever I want. For example, I call it name and assign it to the names dot names and to the names actually. And using this, we can access each array element that we want. For example, I want to access the all the array element from here. I can declare a variable called rain and assign it to a name, and from the name get the first one. The first one is 0, so I'm going to do the same for the rest, for the Alex, for the John. Here I can pass the 1 and change its name to the Alex, and just for John, and it changes its index to the 2. Now here I can come, sorry, and console to the log, console dot log, and pass each array element that you want. For example, here I want Alex. Now if I save it, you see that we have access to Alex. But it takes so long, and you see we have too much redundancy here. There is a short way to do this. How can we do that short way? Here I can come and declare a variable and assign these variables in a short way. So here I can open a brackets and type the variables that I want to assign these arrays element. For example, I want the rain, Alex and the John. Now simply by this, and make sure to assign it to the names, by this you have access to each array element, and you are stored in an individual array, individual variable. So now if I came and say console.log and pass the Alex here, we have again access to Alex. Let me show you a few different. For example, I pass the rain and we get the rain here. But what if an array element is returned from a function? I declare a function, call it names, and this is going to return some names from here, which are arrays. For example, rain and Alex. These are enough. How can we store these things? We can declare a variable like before and declare the variables that you want to store these arrays element. For example, here I want the rain and Alex. It's not necessary to you should pass what is inside this. You can pass anything you want. Remember that this is just only a variable. Now here I should assign it to this function name here. Our function name is names. Now you have to pass its brackets because you are dealing with a function. Now simply I can come and say console.log and pass the rain here, actually Alex, to see a few different things here. If I save it, here we get Alex. But what if a return, an array has an element that we didn't declare a variable to it? For example, here I pass the John. Now here is no problem, and if I save it, it's going to return me no error. But what if I came here and declare a variable which is not defined? For example, declare the John here. Now if I console to the log the John, we get undefined. So how can we handle it to we get no undefined? We can set a default value to it. So how can we set a default value to it? Just simply come here, put an assignment operator, and declare a default value for it. For example, I pass John here. Now if I save it, we get John. But if I came here and pass an array element to the John. For example, I pass the Jing. Now if I save it, we get the Jing, and this is just a default value. When there is a real value, a main value in the when there is an array element which is exists and you declare it, their default value has no meaning and it's not function. So we get the array element replace of the default value. So it's possible to a function return null. How can we handle that? Here, if I pass the null, we get some errors here. Now save it, we get anchor type error name is null. So if a function is returned null, you can handle it using a condition here. I can say or assign it to the function of name, or if this function is return null or nothing. In this case, we handle this and we get no error. Now if I save it, we get no error here. So you remember that we have in the arrays we have nested array. For example, here I declare a variable of names, for example, Rain and Alex, and imagine that they have favorite colors. And here I declare another array. Arrays in arrays is called nested arrays. So here I pass some colors, for example, green and gray. Now, how can I access these arrays elements? We can access these array element using this way. You can make sure to put the comma, and after that open up another brackets. For each array you have to declare a brackets. Remember that this brackets is not an array. I don't know if I see it or not. So here we can declare those variables, for example, green and gray. Now if I came here and declare and pass the green here, we get access to this one and assign it to variable of green. And remember, all these things are a variable here. They are not arrays. So it's possible to a function return an array which that function has parameters. For example, here I pass a and b, and this a and b is going to be passed to this array element. For example, here I declare an array in, say, a plus b, and the other array element, for example, a plus b in, sorry, I should put it like this, a plus b. I want to take its average divided by 2. By using this, we can get the average of a series of number. So here, how can we handle this one? We can handle these things like this. Here I declare a variable, and here we have two array elements. For example, I call them sum and av, which stands for average. And now you should assign it to this function, and this function has parameter. You can pass it parameter. For example, I pass 20 and 10 for it. Now here, if I came and say console .log and pass the sum here, you will see that we get sum of these variables. As simple as this. And this was from the distracting assignment. And if you have a question about JavaScript, feel free to ask, and I'll see you in the very next tutorial. Bye.